Hi everybody. Um, a couple days ago, I did a coffee dye video, and I told you that was method number one, and that sometimes I leave things just setting in the tray and do not worry anything about it until later on. And I thought I would get on here and show you just how I do that and what I'm talking about. Now, this is a big tray, and I always use the big tray when I'm going to do this. And part of the reason I do it this way is I don't have time always to fuss with it. So this works really well. And you notice that I'm just sticking the papers in all cattywampus, and I stick in whatever I happen to have. This is some cardstock I want dyed. The other was copy paper and envelopes. And I just put in a bunch of layers. And part of the thing is that, again, I don't care whether or not it is evenly dyed. I like the inconsistency. I like the fact that things end up with some light areas and some dark areas. Sometimes it's blobby, sometimes it's the lines of the paper actually are showing. So I'm not sure how much coffee is. Oh, there's quite a bit. We're just going to keep going here. And another thing is I really kind of dye this based on whatever's in the pot. And needless to say, I don't make extra coffee for this. I just use whatever hubby has left over. When you don't make a full pot of coffee, it sometimes is harder to judge exactly how much you're making. So I think that ought to be enough. Wait one second, I got this cardstock doesn't want to come apart. I do usually lay it in there in single layers, single sheets, just because. And then I take whatever's left over and I pour it in there. And now I'm going to go off and leave this. And this is also the way I do it when I'm busy. If I don't have time to fuss with it, and yet I need some coffee dyed paper for a project, this is what I do. I just put it in that tray and walk away. Now, I'm going to turn off the video, and in a little while I will come back and show you where we stand. Hi, we're just back to check in on things. I want to show you how the coffee's being absorbed. You see how there's still some white corners. Now, I don't usually bother to check in on it. I just leave it. If I happen to have a piece, I was trying to get it all to one side. Let's see if I can get it here. There we go. You see there's a little puddle of coffee still. And if I get a piece that is not dyed as much as I want when I finish, I just throw it in the next time. So I'm just going to leave this sit here and not worry about it until later, and I'll be back to show you what we end up with and how it goes. It's soaking in or it's not. And let me see if I can lift it up. See, there's some white pieces under there. Well, if they don't dye, I just throw them in the next time. So that's just the way I do this. So I'll come back to it, and it's funny how it will soak through, and I did get quite a bit of paper in there this time, so we may have some that have to be re-dyed. Anyways, I'll be back later. Hi. So this morning I overestimated the amount of coffee that was in there, so I'm going to pull out some of these papers. The color that they're coming out and the splotchiness I love, but I also had put in this cardstock and it's not got, there's not enough coffee, so it's not soaking up. So I'm just going to pull the top layers out and let them get dry. I'm just going to lay them out on some baking racks. They'll be fine. I can just lay them even right together. Now I can put these all back in on another day. Not a problem. But I want to get down to where it looks like what I would normally do, so that you can watch to see what happens. And see, that's more like, well, see, putting the cardstock in there, I should have not put quite as much in there this time as I did. So my bad, sorry guys. I'm just going to pull some of this cardstock out of here. There we go. Because it'll dry normal. But now you can see that I have pretty well covered papers. And there are some that aren't covered in these corners, like so, right in here. That's more what it normally looks like. I just tried to overdo it because I was showing off. So I'm going to make these get flat. Just a second. I'm going to just flatten these back out again. This kind of thing I like. I like it to be just a little bit modeled. And see, I have let it get all stuck to itself. It's not that fragile. I can turn it over and that kind of thing. So this is what it's normally like. It has pretty much, you know, I guess the cardstock has not gone through very well. So I may have to redo the cardstock, but that's okay. The paper is going to do exactly what I normally do with it. Now, I think you could probably see, like right in here, there's sort of an air bubble, that kind of thing. That's kind of what it's like. And there's a lot of variety in the color, and that's a cardstock again. So apparently, I need a little more coffee when I do cardstock. And so what I usually do now is, it looks like this. This is what it's looking like. And now I just let it sit here and get dry. Now during the warmer weather, there's fans on all over the house, so it dries pretty quick. Right now it's a little chillier in here, so it's not drying as fast. But I'm going to just leave it now that I've got it more looking like what it would normally look like, and we'll be back when it starts to really get good and dry. Hi again. So normally this would have been dry in a little while because the fans would have been on and be warm in here. And just because I decided to do this video has actually turned chilly, finally. Chilly being 70s. Anyways, so I had to leave this overnight, and I can't wait anymore to sort it out. I just wanted to show you. See this beautiful streaky thing that happens by leaving it? Now what I do now is pull it apart a little at a time, lay it on something that's going to dry a little bit more quickly rather than piled all up right here. One of the things I really like is the fact that because I layered it this way and that way, I've got where the other paper was, it's kind of, this got darker and that's lighter. Anyways, I just lay it out like on a baking rack and see the mottled colors of this. And because it has air under it now, it'll dry a lot faster. So I just kind of use like a wire baking rack thing. And it can be piled up now. It's one of those things where you just want to sort of get it off of the cookie sheet. This one, look at that. That's just yummy right there. Okay. Now, I did realize that I did not put enough coffee in it yesterday for all of the cardstock that I had put in. So some of the cardstocks, especially, did not really get enough coffee in them. See, they're kind of white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick those back in later with some more coffee. Not a big deal. Seems, especially since what I use is the coffee that is left over. But see, by leaving it sit here and just letting it to do its own thing, I have fun little dark places on the edges and the mottled sort of look to different parts of it. I'm just laying it out on baking sheet. It should dry quickly. Like I said, normally this would have been mostly dry in a couple of hours. Oh, see, look at how pretty that is. Okay. And like I said, I really should have put a little less paper in it because of the cardstock yesterday. So these probably will get done again, but look at that nice little dark corner right there. And see how by layering it that way, you get all these fun page marks, kind of aging it instead of just coffee dyeing it. And then of course you get some that are fairly, that one even has a lot of mottled color in the corner of it here. And like I said, it's not as fragile as you think taking it apart. You just have to pick it up and move it around. So that is my method number 2 for coffee dye and paper. And neither one of them require turning on the oven and standing there with it. This one is just real easy. I decided I wanted to lay that one just a little bit different. These envelopes take a little bit to dry. Now look at, see here, look at that. Isn't that fun? And when it dries, it'll be real pretty. So, guys, I hope this helps out and keeps you from having to stand over a hot oven. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much. Have some fun. Make some art.